Yo, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Contender Series Week 10. Now, there are currently 5 fights on this fight card, and the first fight of the night is between Chelsea Hackett and Victoria Leonardo. Now, it is a women's flyweight bout. The second fight of the night is between Sherrod Blackledge and Tucker Lutz, and that is a lightweight bout. The next fight after that is between Pauline Macias and Gloria Paula, and that is a women's strawweight bout. The fight after that is between JP Bice and Jacob Silva, and that is a flyweight bout. And then the main event for this fight card is between Nick Maximov and Oscar Ivan Kolta, and it is a heavyweight bout. Alright, now let's look at the first fight of the night between Chelsea Hackett and Victoria Leonardo. So as I said, it is a women's flyweight bout. Chelsea Hackett is currently 3-0-1. She's currently on a 3-fight win streak, with her only draw coming as in her first fight of the year, which was literally 1 year ago over Mel Zaman, which got a draw from majority decision. After that draw, she came back with a unanimous decision, a second round knockout, and then a unanimous decision. And now she's going to be fighting Victoria Leonardo on the Contender Series. Now, Victoria Leonardo, she's been in a lot of different promotions in her career. She actually started her career in the LFA, where she got a first-round rear naked choke submission win over Haley Cowan and a unanimous decision win over Selena Rowland. Now, after those 2 wins inside the LFA against pretty good competition, she ended up joining Invicta FC, where she ended up fighting Miranda Maverick, and she ended up losing that fight by first-round armbar. So after that loss to Miranda Maverick, she came back with a second-round rear naked choke submission over Monica Medina. And then she had a boxing and a kickboxing bout. Won her boxing bout with a knockout and lost her kickboxing bout with a split decision. And she was like, alright, I'm done with boxing, I'm done with kickboxing, and went back to MMA, where she got a rear naked choke submission in the first round over Jamie Milowski and Invicta FC. And that's where she joined Bellator, where she got a first round armbar over Malin Hermanson in Bellator 218. And then she moved back to Invicta FC, where she got a unanimous decision win over Stephanie Goutmacher. And then joined Invicta FC back in again, and had an exhibition bout with Miranda Maverick in a fight she ended up losing by unanimous decision. And then she had one more fight with the promotion against Erin Blomfield, which she lost by second round head kick KO. And then most recently, just about a month and a half ago, she ended up fighting Liz Tracy and won that fight by unanimous decision, and it should have done enough to get her a shot into the Contender Series, as it was an absolutely dominant performance over Liz Tracy, and she definitely deserves this spot inside the Contender Series. Now, if you look at those Tapology predictions, there currently aren't any betting lines open for this fight. But the Tapology predictions are really favoring Chelsea Hackett. I mean, 73% of the votes are going for Chelsea Hackett to mainly win by decision. Some people are saying she's going to get a knockout in this fight, which is kind of hard to believe. I don't really think she's going to knock out Victoria Leonardo at all. But to be honest, Victoria Leonardo, she is an absolute beast. I mean, her ground game is absolutely amazing. You look at her past couple of fights. She did lose that one to Erin Blomfield by second round head kick KO. But I mean, before that, unanimous decision, first round armbar, first round rear naked choke submission, second round rear naked choke submission, unanimous decision, first round rear naked choke submission. I mean, she's really, really good on the ground. Even though a lot of people are kind of hyped on Chelsea Hackett, I think Victoria Leonardo will win the fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now after that first fight of the night, we go on to undefeated Sherrod Blackledge versus Tucker Lutz, who is currently 10-1. This fight, in my opinion, is going to be the best fight of the night. Sherrod Blackledge 5-0, as I said, Tucker Lutz 10-1. Alright, so, I mean, Tucker Lutz, he started his career actually with a third-round knockout loss to Alvin Mercer. Came back with a first-round dart stroke, second-round TKO, third-round TKO, first-round guillotine, unanimous decision, first-round knockout, second-round knockout, first-round knockout, second-round knockout. Wow, at that point he was 9-1 and finally got that shot on the Contender Series against Chase Gibson, who he ended up beating by unanimous decision. Now that fight, in my opinion, was the fight of the night. And to be honest, I don't really think that fight should have warranted a UFC contract, and Dana thought the exact same thing. So he's putting him against Sherrod Blackledge at the Contender Series Week 10. And I mean, in Sherrod Blackledge's last fight, which was also on the Contender Series, he also won by unanimous decision. But again, in my opinion, it was not enough to impress the UFC to get him a contract in the UFC. So he's going to have to be fighting Tucker Lutz. Now, Tucker Lutz definitely has the power advantage. I mean, if you look at his record, I mean, 6 knockouts on his record, 2 submissions, and 2 decisions. Sherrod Blackledge, a little bit different. I mean, 2 of his fights have ended in knockout, 3 have ended in decision. I mean, he still has power, but definitely not to the extent of Tucker Lutz. Now, I do think this fight will go all the way. I don't think either fighter is going to knock out the other fighter. But I think Sherrod Blackledge is kind of going to use that reach and that height advantage to kind of pick Tucker Lutz apart on the feet. And I think Sherrod Blackledge is going to win this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, so this next fight was actually supposed to happen a week ago between Pauline Macias and Gloria de Paula at women's strawweight. Pauline Macias 4-0, Gloria de Paula 4-2. I mean, Pauline Macias, I definitely think she has the grappling advantage in literally all of her fights. She's an absolute beast. Her first fight ended in first round armbar. She came after that, joined the LFA, got a second round TKO, a unanimous decision, and then a very close split decision win over Dana Zigelbo-Ngurao. Getting her this fight against Gloria de Paula at Contender Series Week 10. Gloria de Paula, she's a little bit different. She sort of likes her striking much better than her grappling. Her first fight, she ended up winning by first round knockout. Lost her next by unanimous decision. Came back with a third round knockout, and then another knockout. And then, after that knockout, ended up losing her next fight to Isabella de Pauda by unanimous decision. And then came back with a third round knockout over Rafaela Rodriguez. Getting her this fight on the Contender Series against Pauline Macias. Now, if you look at the betting odds for this fight, it's literally split down the middle. Gloria de Paula is pretty much at like -110, -115. Pauline Macias is basically the same exact thing. So this is an even money fight, in my opinion. They're literally the exact same on the betting lines. Now, in my opinion, do I think that those betting lines will show up on the actual fight? No, I do not. Pauline Macias' grappling game is going to be way too much for Gloria de Paula. I think Pauline Macias is going to dominate this fight and win the fight by unanimous decision. Alright, now the next fight on this fight card is between JP Buys and Jacob Silva. Now, this is a flyweight bout. JP Buys is currently 24.5 years old. Jacob Silva is currently 32.5 years old. To be honest, JP Buys 8-2, Jacob Silva 6-3. If you look at JP Buys' most recent fights, I mean, he lost that one fight on the Contender Series back in 2017 to Joby Sanchez by second round TKO, and he's really picked it up since then with a first round mounted guillotine choke, a third round knockout, a fourth round TKO, and then joined the LFA where he got a first round TKO over Christian Rodriguez Jr., getting in this shot on the Contender Series against Jacob Silva. Now, Jacob Silva, on the other hand, his last fight, he actually ended up losing, and it was against a very, very good fighter, in Jeffrey Molina, and he lost that fight by unanimous decision. Before that, he got a first-round triangle, first-round knockout, third-round knockout, fifth-round knockout, first-round TKO. I mean, this guy has some serious power. Now, do I think he's going to land in this fight? No, I do not. JP Buys, 8-2. You look at that. I mean, come on. He's a TKO machine. He brings you down. He goes for submission after submission. He likes to butter you up with some nice ground and pound shots and go for submissions. I don't think either fighter is going to finish this fight, but if JP Buys does what he always does in his fights, takes him down, goes for ground and pound, goes for submission after submission, I think JP Buys will have no problem winning this fight by unanimous decision. And that leads us to the main event of the evening between Nick Maximov and Oscar Ivan Kolta. Alright, so Nick Maximov is 5-0. I mean, if you look at this man's record, started his career off with a first-round knockout, second-round Kimura, first-round knockout, joined the KOTC, got a first-round rear naked choke submission, then joined the LFA, where he got a second-round rear naked choke submission after he absolutely dominated Johnny James Jr. for 2 full rounds, went for submission after submission, and finally got one. And not to mention, this man has done like at least 8 grappling bouts in his career so far, and has done very, very well in them. I mean, this man's grappling is off the hook. Now, Oscar Ivan Kolta, a little bit different, 11-2. He's 36 years old. I mean, he definitely has some power. He definitely has some submission skills. But I mean, he started his career back in 2011 with 2 straight wins. Lost his next fight, came back with the win, got a first-round inverted triangle choke submission, a unanimous decision, a first-round knockout, another knockout, a unanimous decision, a third-round knockout, a unanimous decision, and then lost his next fight to Jay Silva by third round arm triangle choke submission, and then came back with a first round knockout. Now, do I think this guy can do well on the ground? Sort of. I mean, he has like 2 submissions on his record. He could do pretty okay on the ground. But Nick Maximov, I mean, if you watch this guy's last fight and how he absolutely dominated Johnny James Jr. for 2 straight rounds and just got that submission so easily, it's hard to say that. It's really hard to say Oscar Ivan Kolta really has a chance to keep this fight on the feet with Nick Maximov's constant takedown pressure, constantly trying to get you onto the fence and try to take you down and go for submission after submission. I think Nick Maximov is going to be way, way too much for Oscar Ivan Kolta to handle. Do I think Nick Maximov can get a submission in this fight? Of course I do. This man goes for submissions like Jimmy Flick did a couple months back, and I do think he'll get a submission in the first or second round. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like this video if you do like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the absolute best content out there. We post Contender Series, Invicta, UFC, Bellator, honestly, whatever you guys want, LFA, whatever you guys want me to post, put it in the comment section below, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. And I'll let you know if I'm going to make that video, because chances are I will take your suggestion and make that video. I am posting videos every single day. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, but I'm out of here.